Alright. Welcome back, y'all. I am here, Big Cam, bringing you episode 4 of Comically Boston. We are back with on another Monday here for you guys. It was a big weekend. We had House of the Dragon. We had the Pats game. We had week 2 of the NFL. Pats pick up a dub. Pats go to 1-1 on the season. Send the Steelers to 1-1 on the season. That's good. Bodie's here with me today. You guys comment below if you like Bodie. No comments yet, no likes. You guys didn't really seem to like the last week's video. If you are watching this and you haven't watched episode 3, please go back, because episode 3 is a very good episode that I took a lot of time for. What are you doing? Look at him. He's like, Dad, I've never been down here. I don't know what you're doing. Dad, Bodie, I'm making a podcast, buddy. Come on, sit back down. Sit back down. Go back over here. There you go. Sit down. You can play with your Mr. Shocky. This is his first toy he ever got from Daddy. First day I picked him up in the car. There's a YouTube video somewhere on the channel about that. First day me and Debbie picked him up. Hey, stay here. Stay here. Lay down. Lay down. Stay. Stay. Get yourself comfy. It's okay, big boy. Yes. Sorry, distraction with Bodie here. NFL Week 1. Pats, I think, take a narrow lead, a narrow victory. I saw the beginning of the game. I saw Mac Jones throw a pick, and then I got frustrated and walked away. But, yeah, Week 2, Packers-Bears. Packers take a 27-10 dub. Cardinals-Raiders. Cardinals beat the Raiders. Texans-Broncos. Broncos take the dub. Bengals-Cowboys. Bengals lose another one. Another close one. They lost by a field goal, 2017, to the Cowboys. Falcons-Rams. They lose 31-7. The Falcons lose to the Rams. 31-27. Close game. Seahawks lose big, 27-7 against the 49ers. Dolphins pick up a dub, 42-38. High-scoring game against the Ravens. Buccaneers, Tom Brady picks up a dub against the Saints, 20-10. Jets-Browns. Jets pick up a 1-point victory over the Browns, 31-30. The Commanders versus the Lions. The Redskins lose to the Lions, 36-27. Panthers lose by a field goal to the Giants. Pats beat the Steelers by a field goal. Colts lose big to the Jaguars, 24-zip. Good God. Chiefs-Chargers, 27-4. Chiefs win, 27-24. And then upcoming games tonight, we got Titans-Bills at 7:15, and then Vikings-Eagles at 8:30. I got the Bills beating the Titans, and I got the Vikings beating the Eagles. You heard it here first. That Vikings-Eagles will probably go the other way, though. Vikings-Eagles, if I'm guessing, Bodie, what do you think? I'm guessing Vikings-Eagles will be Eagles all day, every day. Let me let Dad blow his nose real quick. Jesus. Ugh, I'm dripping. Oh! It's you, big. You stay here. Dad is filming a podcast, sir. This is the first one Bodie's being present on. And you're not just sitting like you should. Yeah, not much going on this week. We had She-Hulk Episode 5. Episode 5 was, basic baller stuff. It was okay. I think it can be better. But there's 4 more episodes for that show, so I like where it's going. It's low stakes. There's no world-ending threat going on. And right now it's just Jennifer Walters doing her thing, so Jen Walters is quickly becoming one of my new favorite characters in Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I do actually really enjoy the low stakes of the show. She's getting a new outfit, and we see Daredevil is also out on the West Coast somehow getting a new outfit from this guy, from the Drip Broker. So, yeah, there's little things going on like that don't really make a whole lot of sense, but I think they will make more sense in the future episodes. But if you're going to show us that Daredevil is in the trailers, like opening up to the show, I think you gotta have him show up in episode 5, right? They didn't have him show up in episode 5. They just teased him with the helmet. So if he doesn't show up next week, I think they're going to have, a fucking riot on their hand of Daredevil lovers and people. Come over here, bud. Sit in your bed. Sit in your bed, bud. I know you want to be in the pod. You want to be front row, front center. But you can hang out with Dad instead of taking a lonely nap upstairs, okay? Just hang out. But, yeah. My only real complaints with episode 5 was that I really wished that Daredevil was in it. And they didn't give us a post-credit scene. At the very least, they could have shown the same little clip that they did with Daredevil flipping over the car in the trailer. They could have shown that. Come here, buddy. They could have just given us a post-credit scene that was the same thing that they've already shown us, him flipping over the car, turning around real quick, and then that's where it cuts. Next episode, we open up figuring out with what they're doing. But they know what they're doing better than I do, so I'm here for it. I'll be tuning in Thursday for episode 6. This week, coming up on Wednesday, we have 3 episodes of the Cassian Andor show. That's a Star Wars show for those that don't know. If you haven't seen Rogue One, you won't know who that is. Rogue One has Diego Luna playing Cassian Andor in that movie. And, I personally have to do a rewatch on that movie myself. I'll probably do that today or some point this week before Wednesday, because we're going to have 3 episodes of that show coming out. That's going to have, I think, 2 12-episode seasons. So, they drop in 3 on Wednesday, and then every Wednesday from there we'll have 9 more weeks of Andor. Woo! Content, folks. So we'll be talking about Andor soon. She-Hulk has 4 more episodes. House of the Dragon just had episode 5, so they got 5 more episodes. Raising Kanan just had episode 6. They got probably 4 more episodes. Raising Kanan is getting good, because the beef between Rock and the Italians is getting bad, and people are dying, bodies are dying. Italians are coming to kill Kanan at the ranch out in the woods. They're following Rock around. So Rock's like, yo, we've been doing too much here. We need to calm down a little bit. We need to chill out. We need to have some type of deal, and we need to calm down the heat in the streets right now. So Rock's pissed she has to even go to the Italians, but she's smarter than she looks, and she's like, isn't it convenient that now all of a sudden Unique, Joey Badass's character, is important and he's needed? We just cut out Unique, so now we need him. Isn't that unique that we need Unique? It's fucking... So it starts to get crazy, and Kanan is starting to do more in the business. So Kanan takes, the brown paper bag filled with money, and it's Rock's money, his mom's money, right? So he's supposed to deliver it to the bodega. He's on his way with Famous, his boy, and they get robbed by this loser named Freddy, right? So Freddy takes fucking Famous's fake chain and just takes Kanan's backpack without even knowing what's in it. Once they open the backpack, they see the money. They're like, oh, fuck. We know who Kanan's mom is, and we know what the fuck is up, so we're going to probably get shot for this shit. So we should probably give it back, but they never gave it back. Kanan goes to get it. Kanan goes to get knives from Famous's next door neighbor, this girl that he was liking at a party. And he goes to talk to the girl, and he's like, yo, we need some knives. We're cooking in the kitchen. And the mom walks in like a true gangster and goes, honey, never get in the way of a man that is trying to put in work in the kitchen. Goes, Kanan, I got the knives that you'll need right here. Let's go in the other room. Walks into the kitchen with Kanan. He goes, I think this will do better than the knives you were looking for. Hands him a fucking snub-nosed pistol. And Kanan's like, what the fuck? I was hitting on your daughter. What the fuck are you doing, moms? And the moms really likes Kanan. So I think Kanan's going to be fucking the moms. Oh, because the moms wants it. Moms wants it bad, right, Bodie? Fucking, yeah, right. Kanan's, that lady that Kanan was hitting on, that mom wants it bad, big boy. So Kanan ends up going back with now the snub-nosed pistol. Kanan, busts open the door, kicks the kid in. He's like, the fucking kid Freddy that robbed him originally, that was talking all this shit, is now has a gun in his face, and he's like, oh God, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I would have never done something stupid like that. And Kanan's like, yeah, well, it's too late for all that, motherfucker. You done found the trouble. You done started the trouble. Now you done found it. And like, what's up? So Kanan, pistol whips him, knocks him on the ground, then punches him in the face fucking a bunch of times. And and so Kanan is just like on the run, and he's just like, this is wild. Kanan snatches back the chain, beats up the dude. An old man saw him beating up this guy, so calls the police for an assault charge. Famous and Kanan run out in the street, so they're just walking on the street. Cops pull up on the street. Kanan runs, because Kanan has the gun on him. Doesn't want to get caught with that, so he bolts. Famous gets arrested with the bag of money on his shoulder. So they got the money back, loses it again, but now he gets his boy arrested. Kanan goes running home to Rock. He's like, Mom, come on, my best friend Famous, the cops got him, we gotta go bail him out. And the mom's like, that ain't my kid, fuck him, his moms can bail him out. And because Kanan doesn't tell her the whole story, that he got caught with his shit that he's supposed to be delivering. So he doesn't tell him, and like the whole family's like, nah, fuck Famous. So finally, Kanan's like, tells his Uncle Marv, and he's like, yo, Marv, like, fucking Famous got caught with the money, man. He's like, don't you fucking ask me for an assist right now. Like, don't you dare. So Kanan's pretty much fucked. So Kanan calls the last option he's got, his father. So Officer Howard enters scene, gets Famous out of jail, gets the money back with all the money in it, right? So Kanan gets the money back, gets Famous back, but as he's outside the police station getting Famous out, and he's talking to Kanan, the partner, Howard's lesbian partner, pulls up after having some lesbian love sex earlier in the show. She pulls up to the precinct, and she sees Howard talking to Kanan. So now she knows that he's got a son, and that the son is Kanan, or at least she can probably connect the dots. So that's going to end up being wild. And then Howard, shits on Kanan for having his boy be an idiot, and he's like, yeah, he's an idiot, but that's just Famous. And he's like, you need better people to hang around, brother. Like, you need some smarter friends. And he's like, oh, that's my boy. Like, but you can't have your boy getting caught with a bag of money. Like, if you run too, motherfucker. Like, and he's like, oh, I'm not fast. Sorry, I got caught. Stupid motherfucker. Like, he needs to be writing raps. He's in jail, and he's like trying to bust bars. All the people in the jail cell with him are talking shit about him. Which is just hilarious, because poor Famous can't catch a break. But then the episode ends with Lou. Lou doesn't really want to be in this gang shit anymore. He wants to really do the music shit. But now he's found out too much information about Crown being a sneaky little motherfucker. So Crown Camacho dies in this episode, y'all. Sorry for spoilers, but if you watch the show too, you've following along week to week like I've been. If you're only a couple episodes in, go back to one of the other podcast episodes where it's just me talking about the other episodes. But as far as this episode, Crown Camacho talks way too much shit to Lou, and Lou finally snaps. Lou fucking punches him in the face, beats his ass, beats him through a table, fucking puts cord around his neck, and chokes that motherfucker out. But come over here, buddy. Lay down. It's okay, bro. It's okay. You're okay. You can lay down, hang out with Dad for a little bit, please. There you go. Thank you. Okay, he's so cute, but he's a real problem. I don't know if you can hear his little nose on camera. He doesn't breathe so well because these dogs have smushed in faces. But he's like, barely breathing. He's like, God damn it, bro. I'm just trying to live. Now what is he doing? He's watching TV over there? Because they keep switching? It's okay, buddy. Dad's here. But at the end, you hear 50 Cent. Because the name of this episode was, it's a Business Man is the name of the episode. And you start hearing 50 Cent voiceover in the end as Lou's beating the shit out of fucking Crown. And it's like, that old saying, it's just business, it ain't personal. Fuck that. Sometimes it is real personal, and when it gets personal, body stop dropping. Lou chokes out Crown, and the girl that I don't remember her name. Sorry to the actress or the character in the show, but the girl that he picks up on the street gives Jukebox's song to. She walks in because she's really fallen in love with Lou, and she walks in to see Lou choked out Crown, and she's a gangster. She looks at Lou and goes, "So what we gonna do with him now?" And Lou's just kind of like, "All right, this is my girl now." But that's how the episode ends. So next week, no more Crown Camacho, Bulletproof Records, and Lou are now all alone, and he's gonna be running it himself. Where Crown did have quite a few connections in the music industry. And Lou is just too hard-headed to be in the music industry, I think. But he also had Crown undercutting him. So I don't know. Maybe Lou will be alright. But maybe Lou will be trying to do the music shit. And his only option is to be the home run hitter and the killer that he is for rock. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough battle for him. But I like Kanan. Raising Kanan's a good show. So let me know if you guys have been watching that down below. But we're going to be moving on here to my Game of Thrones rewatch. So last episode I was, I believe, through season 3, midway through season 3. Now I'm like midway through season 4. So I've gone like a whole season since last week, and it's really tough. Really tough where they're at now. At the end of season 3, Robb Stark and the Red Wedding, they get fucked up by the Freys, and the mom dies. The mom gets her throat slit. Robb Stark gets his head cut off, and his body is mounted to his horse with his dire wolf's head mounted to his body. Like, oh, they do him so dirty. The only person that gets done slightly more dirty is poor Theon Greyjoy by that fucking bastard Ramsay Snow. Because poor Theon gets his manhood chopped off. He gets, his whole mental psyche fucked up, like, so that he thinks he's not even a Greyjoy anymore. And he's like, my name is Reek. I'm Reek. My name is Reek. I'm just Reek. Let me die. Like, fuck. Like, it's terrible. Arya Stark is riding around with the Hound. Oof. That's a vicious combo. Arya and the Hound are a vicious combo. Jon Snow is hooking up with his red-headed wildling, but he knows nothing, Jon Snow. And then he ends up, turning on the wildlings, running away. He kills the warg that they're with. The only one that lives is the ginger that his love is, in the bearded ginger. I don't remember his name. What's his name? Something Thorn Blood or something like that. What's his name, bud? I don't know. Not Mance Rayder, the other one. The one with the big ginger beard. He ended up being in a Fate of the Furious, I think. Fast 8. He was a bad guy with Charlize Theron. Right? Yes, bud. Yeah. So Jon runs away, goes back to Castle Black. Sir Davos with Stannis Baratheon sets Gendry, King Robert's bastard, free, and so that's the last time we see Gendry. We don't know where he ends up. Jaime Lannister ends up back at King's Landing with Cersei, and after getting his hand cut off, Cersei ends up seeing his hand. King Joffrey gets poisoned. Oh my god. I don't know about y'all, but King Joffrey was the worst character on Game of Thrones. So when he died, a lot of people were really, really happy, including me. I was ecstatic when Joffrey died, especially because he gets poisoned. And when he gets poisoned, he's like treating Tyrion Lannister the absolute worst he can, and Tyrion's just kind of taking it, but then they blame Tyrion for the poison. So Tyrion's now on trial for poison, and yeah, but who really killed Tyrion was Mr. Littlefinger. And Littlefinger's been running things from the shadows for a while now. So Littlefinger has Sansa Stark that he had her escape with him. So he's got Sansa. He's marrying what's the Catelyn Stark that he was in love with. So he was in love with the mom Stark. Now he stole Sansa Stark because he's kind of in love with her through the mom. But the mom's dead, so now he's like, I'll take the next best thing, her oldest daughter. Which is gross, but that's Game of Thrones. And so, like, he really wants the daughter, but the Aunt Liza at the Vale, is who he marries. So now Littlefinger has Harrenhal, I believe, and the Vale through the aunt. And once he gets rid of the aunt, then he'll have Sansa, Harrenhal, and the Vale, which I think is the Eyrie or whatever it is. Right, Bone? I'm not an expert, but you get it. White Walkers start showing up more and more through this season. Halfway through season 4, at the end of episode 4, they are back at the Crasters, which are the people outside of the wall. And Craster was the guy that he would marry all of his daughters and have kids with his daughters, but all of the babies that were sons he would give to the White Walkers, and like he'd offer them to the White Walkers. And we saw like one of the White Walkers pick up a baby and then leave, but we never saw where they go. At the end of episode 4, we see where they go, and he walks with the baby back to the Night King, I believe, way out deep in the snow, and goes back to the Night King, puts the baby down in the center. The Night King picks him up, this crying baby, touches his face, and you see the thing turn to ice in the eyeballs. So like, yeah, but now you have a White Walker baby. So I don't know, maybe they age quicker. Maybe now these baby ones that they're turned from baby, they grow and they become like, I don't know. But you see what he does with the babies finally. And you see that the Night King's just taken over, and he's coming, and he's slowly but surely, winter is coming in Game of Thrones, season by season. Winter is coming, and it is a great, great battle that it is coming quicker and quicker. And so yeah, I'm halfway through, or at the end of episode 6, so I'm like at episode 7, season 4, my Game of Thrones rewatch. They kill Commander Mormont at the Crasters. So Jon Snow comes back, kills the Crasters, kills all the people that were mutinied, all the people that like traitored the Night's Watch, the people that were traitors and killed Commander Mormont, Jorah's father. So Jon Snow takes it upon himself and the people that go with him to come back and get him. And yeah, so they go back, they kill everybody there, and Jon is very, very close to seeing Bran tied up as a hostage there. But one of the guys that was with Jon Snow was a traitor that was like undercover, and he was really trying to bring Bran Stark to kill Bran Stark back to I think King's Landing for Cersei or one of them Lannisters or something like that. They just know that the Starks really are the rightful heirs to Winterfell, so if any of the Starks are alive, they need to be dead. So Bran Stark is also, the three-eyed raven. He's like a warg now. He's paralyzed. So like his whole story is like kind of wild because there's a part of him that's like not able to do anything because he's a cripple and he has to get carried around by Hodor. But then Hodor's story's wild. Like we'll get to it in a future episode. But Bran is like a warg, so he wargs and like he can be an animal and run around as his wolf or something, but he wargs Hodor. So Hodor all of a sudden is under Bran's control. Hodor stops the Hodor shit, gets angry, picks up the dude, snaps his neck, the guy that was traitor that was trying to take Bran. So Bran's okay. Hodor snaps the guy's neck. Hodor's like, Hodor, I got blood on my hands. Hodor, what did Hodor do? So he's like all upset at himself, but Hodor will be fine. He helps Bran up to his feet, and Bran's like trying to go talk to Jon Snow, but he needs to go further north to meet the three-eyed raven. So that's where Bran's going, and Jon Snow kills all the traitors, and he ends up going back to the Wall, I believe. And at the end of 6, they're still in the trial for Tyrion under the Joffrey's murder, which he didn't do, but they bring in Shay, his whore girlfriend, wife, whatever you want to call her, that he sent away. He thought she was gone. She comes back. He thinks she's like coming back to save him. She just like talks so much shit about him, just like completely like just turn sides, like is not with Tyrion, and unless they're making her say that, which I don't believe they are, but maybe we'll find that out in the next episode. But at the end of 6, he asks for a trial by combat, which he's done once before at the Vale, and Sir Bronn saved his life. So I really don't know about this one. I don't remember. I know he lives, but like I don't remember who does the trial. So I'll get back to you with the next week's rewatch. But once I go back to episode 7, I'll figure it out. But so the last things I saw was season 4, episode 6, and he asked for a trial by combat, and that's how it ends. So Tyrion is like, "Fuck you, I didn't do it, but I will fight for my life because that's all I got." You know, like, and he's like, he's probably not gonna be able to fight himself, so he's like, I need a champion." And actually, I think the champion ends up being the Mountain versus Pedro Pascal's character. I believe Pedro Pascal is the champion for Tyrion, and he loses, but then maybe Tyrion runs away, because somehow I remember Tyrion ends up with dragons, and he ends up with a beard and curly hair, and he ends up with Daenerys Targaryen as the hand of the queen. So yeah, this show gets so good. But now I've really enjoyed the second time around of watching Game of Thrones. It's been quite a journey again, because I don't know. I think the first time maybe I was just rushing through, but it's good. It's just such a good show, especially because House of the Dragon's been coming out too, and that's like 200 years before, but they be skipping along like. So I don't know how many years have gone by since the last episode in this one. I don't think very many, because they just go from him being like, "You have to marry," to now they're going to the wedding, and they go to Sir Corlys's house down in the Stepstones. They go to House Valerian, and they're like, "Hey, I offer Rhaenyra to marry your son Laenor." Little do they know Laenor is actually gay. He has a gay lover. So they go, offer, he accepts. They end up talking about who's going to succeed the throne, what are the names going to be, and he's like, "Sure, the children between Rhaenyra and Laenor will be Valerian's last name Valerian, but if their Rhaenyra's heir, which is their firstborn child, is to be king or queen, they need to be a Targaryen." So they end up compromising. That's the deal. They can be last name Valerian as long as they are. I know, but it's a crazy thing, that camera. He was like looking at it like, "What is happening?" It's okay, buddy. We're almost done. We just reached the halfway point there. That's what happened, folks. So we're just going to talk about spoilers for House of the Dragon episode 5, and then I think I'm going to get out of here for you guys. But Daemon comes back and kills his wife. So he goes to, I believe, where is she? Runestone. So the wife has been waiting for Daemon to come consummate the marriage. You know, like he's been married to her since whenever, and he hasn't, been with her, hasn't seen her, hasn't been back to her. So she like is, he said that she was a big old bitch, and like ugly. But when we see her, she's a beautiful lady, and she just like takes no shit. She's one of those hard women that are just like, "Fuck you, bitch." Like, I'm like, no, I can hunt, I can do things by myself, I can ride horses, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And apparently she's a badass hunter and warrior, and she dies by falling off her horse and getting her head crushed. So naturally, Daemon kills her, and Daemon shows up and scares the horse, pushes the horse up, the horse goes up, falls back, the horse falls on her, she's paralyzed. So then she's on the ground and she's like, "I knew you couldn't finish, motherfucker," which is like also what the only thing we've seen Daemon like is about action. He's a warrior, he's a knight, he will fight in battle. He's a badass guy in battle. He's a dragon rider. But as far as fucking comes, and it comes to like being with women, we haven't seen him finish. We've only seen him like start and then just like be incompetent and sit there and not finish. So, right, Bo, he should finish. But she sends that one last insult his way as she's laying on the ground paralyzed. I knew you couldn't finish. So Daemon picks up a big heavy rock and probably crushes her skull. And then, I don't think he was in like a dark cloak, so maybe it was trying to be like he was inconspicuous and nobody really seen him. But he definitely was the one that killed her, and because they didn't have kids, he now will inherit what she inherits, right? Because whatever would pass from the mother and father on down to the kids, if there's no kids, the wife, whatever the wife would get, would pass to the husband. And if Daemon died, technically it would probably have passed to her. But Daemon doesn't want to be married to her. He wants to be married to his niece, Rhaenyra, which I also think is him being like, yeah, Rhaenyra's the queen, but if I'm her king and married to her, it's my throne. So that's what I think Daemon's trying to do. But maybe Daemon just wants to be there for her, and he finally will be a nice guy. I'm not going to hold my hopes out for that in the Game of Thrones universe, but something has me thinking that Daemon will end up with Rhaenyra. But I don't know. Maybe they're just like fucking on the side or something. But so Otto Hightower gets fired last episode. Tells his daughter Alicent, look, hey, get Aegon ready to rule. Get him ready for the throne. Her son Aegon II, Aegon the Conqueror II. Get him ready for rule, or again, you have two options: get him ready for rule, or cling on to Rhaenyra for dear life and go with her, because she's either gonna end us up in chaos or war, and it's gonna be bad. So he's already kind of foreshadowing the future of what it will be like if Rhaenyra ends up being queen, and yeah, I think it's not going to be very pretty. King Viserys is not looking well at all. He's like getting sicker. Rhaenyra's, they go and he talks to Corlys. They make the deal. Rhaenyra is finally set to marry Laenor. They make a deal together that, hey, we can be married, but we're going to be able to pursue our own interests on the outside. Meaning, hey, we're married for a political standpoint, but we're going to fuck whoever we want to fuck. And Laenor agreed. So she was like, okay. So, but little does she know, Laenor is really gay and has a man lover, and she has Sir Criston Cole. Sir Criston Cole's not happy about that because he's a knight. He's like, hey, listen, I know I broke my vows, but I thought if we were married, maybe they would, forgive my vows because we're married, and like he's not supposed to have sex at all as a knight of the King's Guard. So now he's supposed to be, not doing anything, and he offers to run away with it, run away from the throne, run away, and she's like, yeah, I would, but I am the fucking throne. She was like, so if I'm running away, it's still me, like. So I'm not going to be able to run away from it, and she kind of refuses him. He gets pissed. He walks away, but then he doesn't like leave. He's pissed, but he's still loves her. So he's still her knight, still her knight in shining armor, still going to be her King's Guard or whatever. But so they end up going back to King's Landing. They're having a huge feast, a huge party. Everyone shows up, all the families. It's supposed to be a huge celebration because she's now she's going to be the heir, she's the new queen, and she's getting married. So now they're bringing the two biggest houses, Valerian and Targaryen, together, and it's going to be this crazy thing. They're supposed to have 7 days of feast, and at the end, a royal wedding. Alicent, right as soon as the king is making his grand speech, Alicent walks in a bright green dress, which apparently they sign a green light at the lighthouse in Old Town, which is where the Hightowers are from. So in Old Town, for the Hightowers, they sign a green light for their bannermen when they're going to war. So she wears a bright green dress, pretty much probably saying, hey, I'm not happy about this wedding, and I'm not happy about my father being fired. So here's what we're going to do for the Hightowers. We're going to go to war for Aegon, and Aegon will be the rightful heir, and it won't be Rhaenyra. But I think Viserys is pretty set on it being Rhaenyra. But Viserys is about to die. Like, he is just falling apart. Like, he does not look well at all. And right, so she comes in the green dress, and people from her bannermen and her old town people are like, "Hey, I will fucking fight for you. Let just give me the word." And so that happens. She comes in. She finally sits down. The king finishes his speech. They sit down. They have dinner. They start dancing. The queen and the king have their first dance, even though it's not really, they're not married yet, but they have their first dance. And then a guy from Runestone, I think it was the wife, Damon's dead late wife, her uncle or cousin or something like that. He was like, I knew her very well, and she was a great rider. I know that she wouldn't just fall off her horse and die. He goes, I'm making an accusation that you killed her, Damon, and which he definitely did. But Damon's like, oh, I meant to talk to you. Denies that he was there at all, denies that he killed her, and just like doesn't, pretend, like doesn't even remotely phase doesn't even entertain the idea that he was there. And he's just like, oh, by the way, I wanted to come down and talk to you soon. And the guy's like, wait, what? Like, you're not talking about what I was just talking about, but you're still saying words. What are you talking about? And Damon's like, so we didn't have kids. She was set to inherit all of Runestone, so all that inheritance would be passed to me as her husband, correct? Which is true. And the guy's like, oh fuck, I just accused this guy of murder. Now he's supposed to be our ruler. And he's like, yeah, after this whole ceremony, I'm gonna come down to Runestone and take that. So now Damon takes over Runestone, but then Damon also at the wedding. Right before he walks up and talks to Rhaenyra, and says this crazy conversation, he sees a lady Valerian, black lady with the white hair, and he sees her, and he's like, oh, this is a baddie. Maybe I can have a new wife. She's into him. She's like, oh, Dragon Rider? Oh, Targaryen? Oh. So she's into him, but so he starts to dance with her, but walks over to Rhaenyra, and he's like, Rhaenyra, I know you ain't gonna like being married. Is this really what you want? She's like, I didn't know what I wanted mattered to you, motherfucker. Last time I seen you, you walked out of a brothel on me. But she's still into him. And Damon's like, listen, he's gonna bore you terribly. So fucking Rhaenyra's like, already got that fiery queen blood in her, and she's like, listen, Damon, fight through my Kingsguard, strike down my Kingsguard. So she's basically saying, kill Sir Cole, kill all the knights. Take me to Dragonstone and marry me and make me your wife. And he's like, what the fuck? So he's like, oh, you freaky bitch. Grabs her by the neck, and then the crowd of dancers and the whole, because this is right in the middle of like the dance floor. The crowd of dancers are all there, and then all of a sudden a brawl breaks out, and it's Sir Criston Cole beating the Christ out of Laenor's gay lover, because Laenor's gay lover was sitting there watching Laenor and Rhaenyra dance, and he was watching Rhaenyra so closely that he's seen Rhaenyra look at Mr. Cole, and he was like, look how fucking pussy struck he is. He is like just whipped. So he's like, he figures it out, but he also is kind of guessing, but he figures it out. He's like, Sir Cole is the one that Rhaenyra wants to be with, and I figured it out. So he goes up to Cole and he's like, hey, we can keep their secrets. If you keep the secret that Laenor is really gay, I'll keep the secret that you, the king's knight, has been fucking the queen, or the Rhaenyra. And he's like, in a second he's like, oh god, okay, maybe the guy will keep our secrets. And then a couple minutes later, Sir Criston Cole snaps and fucking beats the fuck out of him. Just punches his face in. Like, you can see his face is caved in. Kills the dude. Beats him. Kills him. Beats the piss out of him. For the secret of him and her in the... Yeah. So, this is supposed to be a party, a feast. Now all of a sudden there's a dead body on the ground. Everybody leaves the castle. Sir Cole goes outside and he's like ready to stab himself in the stomach, kill himself. And Alicent stops him. That's the last time we see him and Alicent. So Alicent's like or maybe that will be the start of the next episode, but I doubt it, because next episode is supposed to be 10 years in the future, and we're going to have new actresses for Rhaenyra and Alicent. So, and I think it's still Matt Smith as Daemon and Patty Considine as Viserys, but either way, the Laenor's gay lover dies by the hands of Sir Criston Cole, but because there's a crowd around, Laenor doesn't exactly see that it's Cole and doesn't, like the couple people in the crowd probably do, but either way, Laenor ends up, being in the fight too. He has like a bloody nose. He gets punched in the face. So they end up skipping the whole 7 days, the feast part, and they just have the wedding right away. They have the wedding with just like the mothers, the fathers, and that's it. And like, so they have it. They say their vows, the whatever. They consummate the wedding, or they don't fuck or whatever. They just say their vows, give their kiss, and they go, yeah, you're married. And then as they're married, Viserys faints. That's how the episode ends. And you're like, oh my god. So did Viserys just die? And then if you watch, which I definitely recommend, if you watch these episodes and it ends, there's no real post-credit scene, but if you watch to the very end, there's like a minute and a half, 2-minute clip of the next like a trailer for the next episode always. And then after the trailer, there's like 5 or 6 minutes of the directors and the writers of the show talking in more detail about what just happened. So if you want more details like that, you go to that. But the end trailer, right? So we see the next episode, King is still alive. He's barely alive. He looks like he's falling apart. His hair's thin. He's like on death's door. And 10 years has passed. A decade has passed. So the poor King is like just dying here. He's just like, what the fuck? He's like, oh god. He's like, I just want to die and let Rhaenyra be king. But he's just also clinging to life. So he's still here. I'm pretty sure Alicent has like 3 kids now. She's cranky. She's losing it. Rhaenyra now looks like she has kids. Daemon looks like he married the black lady from the Valerian house that he met at the dance. So now I think he has kids with her at least, but I don't know if they do. We'll figure that out next episode. But yeah, just some wild shit. Daemon ends up marrying that girl. Friggin' Aegon is older now, so he's now 10 years older, so he was probably 2 or 3 or 4 in the last episode, so now maybe he's 14, 15, maybe at the age of like Joffrey, and he's like trying to take over the throne now, so maybe he's trying to say, hey, Viserys is dying, this is my throne now, because we see what looks to be a young Aegon say Dracarys to a dragon inside a castle of some sorts, and you see the dragon breathe fire. That's how the trailer ends. So it's like, oh my god, they leave us on such cliffhangers till next week. But I think Aegon and Alicent are going to be working together, and Rhaenyra and Daemon will be working together. But I think next episode Viserys will finally die, because he's just been holding on to life the last couple episodes. Like the first episode he was in okay shape. The second episode he had lost 2 fingers. Third episode he had welts on him. 4th episode he was like falling apart. He had lost both fingers. He has his arms decaying. He has leeches on him. He has fucking spots on his back. This last episode his whole left arm is starting to like decay and fall off. He's like sitting there sweating, constantly dying. The next episode he's like 10 years in the future, but he's got barely any hair. He's like pale. He's dying next episode. But Rhaenyra is gonna have kids, which I didn't think she wanted to. I would be curious to see if maybe they're Daemon's kids secretly, or if they're Laenor's kids for real, and Laenor was like, well, my gay lover's dead, might as well try and be happy with Rhaenyra. So maybe they try and be together in the next episode, but who knows. But I know we'll see the biggest dragon, Vhagar, in the next episode, and Vhagar is ridden by Daemon's new wife. So that should be interesting. There'll be more dragons next episode. There was a couple this episode, but very briefly. But I just like that this show has a lot more dragons, because we had to wait like multiple seasons. Like I'm season 4. We have her mother of the dragons, but they're still like babies. They're just starting to get bigger. But in my rewatch at the end of season 4, episode 7, the dragon is starting to get bigger. He's at the point where he's like picking up sheep, burning sheep, picking it up, flying away. So he's at the point where he can kill things at whenever he wants. At least the biggest dragon. We didn't see the other 2. But the one that's really like her baby that she always rides, the black one, I think there's a green one and a red one too. But baby, it's okay. It's okay. Somebody flushed toilet next door. That's what happened. Yeah, whoever built this place is an idiot. They put the pipes from next door through the wall over here, which makes no sense at all. But yeah, we're making the best. We're making do with best of what we got. We got my laptop here with notes, and we got this couch, my sports memorabilia. We got the Bodie boy. Thank you for joining me on the podcast today, buddy. It was very good of you. You're very handsome. Only if you could lay down and not want to run away the whole time, and I would rather have to pet you. Because it's very distracting trying to read and talk and pet him at the same time, but I think I did a good job. Let me know down below of how you think this episode went. Comment below if you too are watching House of the Dragon or Raising Kanan or She-Hulk. Comment below if you're also doing a rewatch of Game of Thrones. I figured some people might be doing that because maybe some people are on their first time watching Game of Thrones because their House of the Dragon came out and they gave it a try and they were like, oh, House of the Dragon's cool, maybe Game of Thrones is cool. So maybe you're watching it for that. But all I know is I've thoroughly enjoyed my rewatch of Game of Thrones season, or the second time around, my rewatch of Game of Thrones. I'm thoroughly enjoying House of the Dragon Season 1. I'm thoroughly enjoying Season 2 of Raising Kanan. She-Hulk's been great. And yeah, so we'll have more updates on those stuff next week. And we'll also have updates on the first 3 episodes of Andor next week. Let me know if you guys want me to do an episode on Wednesday about Andor, but that should be cool. Go back next week, or go back to last week's episode and see about all the D23 Expo stuff, all the future of Marvel we talked about last week's episode. And I put a lot of effort into that episode. So if you guys could do me the glorious favor of going back and checking that out, let me know. Till next week, I'm Big Cam. I'll see you then. This is Bodie. You gonna say bye? It's okay. Let's say bye. Come here, buddy. Come here. Oh, my baby. This is my baby. Hi, puppy. Look in the camera right there. You see that? You see that camera? Bye. Bye, y'all. We'll see you next week. Bye. Peace, y'all. See you in next week's episode. We'll be back, me and Bodie Boy. Hopefully, maybe. If you guys like the podcast better with Bodie sitting here, or if you like it better just me, let me know. Comment below. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that like button. Check the description for my social media links. I'm out, y'all. Peace. Peace. Beep.